These are in listen-only mode.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started tonight. I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the second webinar for the IFAS Beef Cattle Economics webinar series. I'm very glad you're able to join us tonight. Again, if for any reason we do lose connection, please know that each webinar is being recorded and will be available on our Range Cattle Research and Education Center's economics page in the next couple of days. So tonight's webinar focuses on marketing opportunities for our 2015 feeder calves. With a tremendous increase in our feeder calf prices over those last 65 months, it's hard not to sell them just as soon as we can. Tonight we're going to review what the feeder calf market is going to be offering us for our summer and fall here in Florida. So these are the 5 topics I'd like to cover during the webinar this evening. First is a review of our 2015 U.S. 550-pound feeder steer cash prices from January through the 3rd week of June. The second thing that we'd like to cover is our U.S. seasonal feeder steer price trends, and then our CME 2015-2016 feeder cattle futures prices. Fourth thing we're going to cover is our projected 2015-2016 Florida 550-pound feeder steer cash prices. And then the last thing we'll cover tonight is our current Florida feeder calf value of gains. So on the 2015 U.S. weekly average 550-pound feeder steer prices, they've ranged from about $265 a hundredweight to $286 per hundredweight since the beginning of 2015. So they've ranged from roughly $21 a hundredweight so far in 2015. Looking at those same 550-pound feeder steers, except on a dollars per head basis, these feeder steer prices have ranged from $1,462 per head to $1,571 per head since the beginning of 2015. So that it's ranged about $109 per head so far in 2015. You can easily see that $109 gain between late January and early April. So this wide range of feeder steer prices is enough of a reason for us to discuss this webinar topic tonight of marketing opportunities for our 2015 feeder calves. So when we think about our marketing opportunities, we should look back and review what markets have done in the past. This chart looks at our U.S. 550-pound feeder steer seasonal price trends for our past 3, 5, and 10 years. The points on each line are our index values that tell us the relationship of feeder steer prices over the year. For instance, the black dotted line, which represents our 10-year seasonal price trend, says that on average, feeder steer prices were approximately 0.95 or 95% of the 10-year average in January, or about 1.03 or 103% in December. So there's a difference of about 8% between our low and our high prices using this 10-year seasonal price trend. Now, if we assume that our average 550-pound feeder steer price is $250 a hundredweight, that would be about $20 a hundredweight or $110 per head change between our low price and our high price for the year. So obviously, not every year is going to follow this seasonal price trend, but when they do follow our seasonal price trends, it gives us more of a justification for making our marketing decisions. In this figure, we're looking at those same U.S. average 550-pound feeder steer prices, and then we're also looking at our 10-year seasonal price index. Our monthly U.S. average 550-pound feeder steer prices are going to be on our left axis in a dollars per hundredweight basis, and they're denoted by the orange bars. Our 10-year seasonal price index is on the right-hand axis and is denoted by the brown dotted line. So if we continue to follow this 10-year seasonal price trend, our U.S. average 550-pound feeder steers should be about the same through October, and then show a modest increase through December. So this is the information. Our seasonal price trend is what history tells us about what to expect for the rest of 2015 as for our feeder steer prices. Another useful tool is our price forecasting tool. So it's the feeder cattle futures contract prices for the months that you're interested in marketing your feeder calves. Some of us may not be aware of it, but there's lots of hedgers and speculators that trade the feeder cattle futures contracts every day. And these hedgers and speculators are collecting market information, and they're taking positions, which helps to give us an expectation about what feeder cattle prices are going to do in the future. So these contracts extend out almost a year into the future. We'll use these feeder cattle price projections and then adjust them for our Florida feeder calf basis, which allows us to see how much more or how much less our feeder calf prices are relative to future feeder cattle prices on a given sale date. Now let's just look at one example of how this works. So you can find these feeder cattle futures prices at the website that's highlighted in yellow above. It's our CME group. This picture shows us our feeder cattle futures quotes for the 8 feeder cattle contract months. So our current contracts that are trading are August 2015 through May 2016. And these futures prices are the average price of what a willing buyer and a willing seller would trade these contracts at. As new information enters the market each day, these futures prices change. So the 4 feeder cattle contract months trading for the remainder of 2015 are August, September, October, and November. So these futures prices are as of the closing of trading yesterday on June the 30th. These prices are reasonably level, which is somewhat consistent with our 10-year seasonal price trend that we discussed earlier. These are our feeder cattle futures contracts that are trading for our 2016 feeder cattle contracts. They include January, March, April, and May. And again, these are as of June 30th, 2015. And these prices average about $210 a hundredweight. For 2016, these projected prices are not consistent with our 10-year seasonal price trend. Now, these are the same CME feeder cattle futures prices, but now we're looking at all 8 contracts. Notice there's about a $13 per hundredweight decrease between our August 2015 contract and our May 2016 contract. So that's about a $98 per head decrease in price, assuming that 750-pound feeder steer on our CME contracts. This chart shows us the price decreases from our current feeder cattle futures contract, which is our August feeder cattle contract, compared with later feeder cattle futures contracts as of June 30th, 2015. The big takeaway here is to notice that significant price decrease as we move to more distant contracts. For example, that decline in price between August 2015 and May 2016 is about $13 per hundredweight, $99 per head, or $6,612 per truckload decrease in the revenues that we're going to receive. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to make an adjustment to these current CME feeder cattle futures prices to calculate our projected Florida feeder steer cash prices for 550-pound feeder steers. In this presentation, we're going to use an estimated Florida 550-pound feeder steer basis of plus $12 per hundredweight, which will be added to the CME feeder cattle futures prices. After adding that $12 per hundredweight basis to the CME feeder cattle futures prices, we are projecting the 2015 Florida feeder steer cash prices to range from $227 per hundredweight to $223 per hundredweight between August and November. Now, these prices do look somewhat similar to the seasonal price trend information we did discuss earlier. So the projected 2016 Florida feeder steer 550-pound cash prices are projected to range from $216 per hundredweight to $214 per hundredweight for January through May 2016. This chart includes all of our projected Florida 550-pound feeder steer cash prices based on the available CME futures feeder cattle prices. Now, these Florida feeder steer prices are projected to decrease about $13 per hundredweight from our August 2015 date to our May 2016 date. Now, we're looking at the same information here, but it's expressed on a dollars per head basis. Our Florida feeder steer prices are projected to decrease about $70 per head between August 2015 and our spring 2016. Then on our 50,000-pound truckload unit, you can see that our prices are currently expected to decrease about $6,700 per truckload from August 2015 to our spring 2016 contracts. Next, let's try using our August 2015 feeder cattle futures price to evaluate Florida feeder calf marketing opportunities between now and the end of August. So this chart is an example of the volatility that we see in the August feeder cattle futures contract for each year between 2011 and 2015. As you can see, the lowest price range was $21 per hundredweight in 2013, and the highest price range was $64 per hundredweight in 2014. On a dollars per head basis, that's $160 per head in 2013 and $480 per head in 2014. On a truckload unit, that was $10,675 in 2013 and $32,000 last year in 2014. So these are really large price changes that can substantially influence your level of profitability. So next I'm going to show you my example of how I used the futures market to plan for marketing a set of feeder calves in 2015. So these are our August feeder cattle futures prices between September and August for the years 2014, 2015, and then our 3-year average, which includes 2012 through 2014. As you can see, these prices in 2015, denoted by our green dots, are much higher than the prices traded during 2014 and then the 3-year average. Now, taking a closer look at that 2015 contract, we saw a price increase of $27 per hundredweight from the beginning of September 2014 to mid-November 2014. And then we saw a large decrease of $38 per hundredweight between the beginning of December and the end of February. So over the last 4 months from the end of February, we've been able to see some recovery in terms of an increase in price of $18 per hundredweight. Now let's adjust these August 2015 feeder cattle futures prices to project our August 2015 Florida feeder calf prices. Producers can use our feeder cattle futures contract months that they're interested in marketing their feeder calves in to evaluate their marketing opportunities. Here we're using that August contract and then adding in our local basis to get our expected cash price. So in this figure, these are our August 2015 projected prices this is what I call our expected cash price for August 2015 for our 525 pound feeder calves. So we've blended those steers and heifers together. Notice that we projected the August 2015 expected cash price starting August 29th, 2014, which was the first day that the August 2015 feeder cattle contract was traded. Each day I record this August 2015 feeder cattle futures price, the closing price, and then I calculate the expected cash price. This August 2015 expected cash price, it peaked at $235 per hundredweight in November, and then it hit its low in February at about $197 per hundredweight. Again, when using the futures market, this isn't going to be the exact cash price that we received, but this is a projected consensus of what on a given day the futures market expects prices will be given a future month for our feeder calves. Next, if we're choosing to project a price in the futures market, we need to know our break-even price and our price objective. The break-even price includes our variable costs here of $525 per head, fixed cost of $225 per head, and then $18 of death loss per head. So our total break-even price is $768 per head, or $146 per hundredweight, and it's denoted by our bold red line. The price objective includes those same variable costs, our fixed costs, and our death loss, as well as a family living withdrawal of $100 per head, and growth capital and retirement and growth capital of about $50 per head. So our price objective here totals $918 per head, or $175 per hundredweight, which is shown by our black dotted line. Our 2015 expected cash price, which is denoted by those green dots, they're far above our break-even price and our price objective in 2015. So anytime so far during 2015, given this example, we could have protected a price during this entire period that would have covered our price objective. In most years, this is not the case, and in the future, we can use the same type of analysis as a marketing tool to decide when to protect a price on our feeder calves. So this figure shows our expected profit per head for marketing our Florida feeder calves in August 2015. The profits and losses here are being defined as the difference between our expected cash price and our break-even price. As you can see, these profits do vary over time. So these profit levels in the example, they've ranged from as low as $105 per head in late February to as high as $310 per head back in November. Currently, our projected profit level is about $200 per head. Again, this figure really illustrates the point that as new information enters our futures market each day, these future prices are changing and they're affecting our expected profit levels. Next, regarding marketing our 2015 feeder calves, let's discuss if there's an opportunity to profitably increase calf sale weight prior to sale. So I've listed 4 alternatives that cow-calf producers can use to put additional weight on our feeder calves. They include leaving the calf on the cow longer, creep feeding, a weaning and preconditioning program for our feeder calves, backgrounding feeders for additional 200 pounds. So adding that additional weight, let's look at an evaluation for our value of gain for our Florida feeder steers. Now, the prices we're using for our value of gain are examples. These were our average prices reported by several Florida auction markets this past week. And they're average auction barn prices for medium and large frame, number 1, number 2 muscle scores for our feeder calves of various weights. So producers who market their animals in truckload units or with various health programs through board sales, video auctions, internet auctions, or selling their animals private treaty may see additional premiums for their feeder calves at weights past what we're using in the examples of this presentation. Therefore, we always encourage producers to evaluate these alternative marketing opportunities separately. Now, just a quick value gain example. If a 550-pound feeder steer brought $2.36 per pound, and that 600-pound feeder steer brought $2.19 per pound, is each additional pound that I put on that 550-pound feeder steer going to be worth $2.19 a pound? The answer is no. And we'll look at why that answer is no. As you see, the additional 50 pounds that we're going to put on that animal is only going to be worth $16 per head. We're simply subtracting that $1,314 per head from that 600-pound feeder steer, minus our $1,298 per head from that 550-pound feeder steer, to get a gain of about $16 per head for our additional 50 pounds. So thus this $16 per head divided by our 50 pounds gives us a value of gain of about 32 cents per pound. So obviously, if you have to use some supplemental feed to get this additional weight gain, it's not going to be very profitable for us to move that animal additional 50 pounds given our current feed costs. So as you can see in this chart, we're looking at our feeder steer prices from this past week. The price per hundredweight, it decreases as the weight of our feeder steers increases. So our current Florida feeder steer prices range from $397 per hundredweight for our 220-pound feeder steers to $206 per hundredweight for those 650-pound feeder steers. So this example gives us a price range of $191 per hundredweight. Now looking specifically at that first 50-pound increment, the price per hundredweight decreases from $397 per hundredweight to $360 per hundredweight as our feeder steer weight increases from 250 pounds to 300 pounds. So that's a decline of $37 per hundredweight over that first 50-pound increment. And then looking at those same feeder steers, but we've added dollars per head on that rod axis, which is denoted by that red dotted line. Again, specifically looking at that first 50 pounds, that 250 pound calf, feeder steer calf, brought $993 per head, while that 300 pound calf brought $1,080 per head. So putting on that first 50 pounds gives us about $88 per head increase in feeder calf revenue there. So most cow-calf producers can collect this additional revenue simply just by leaving that calf on the cow a little longer. We don't want to sell that lightweight calf in this scenario. We want to add some additional pounds to her. Now, let's examine just a little tougher question. Do we want to sell a 450, 550, or 650 pound feeder steer? As we move from 450 to 550 pounds, calculating our dollars per head difference of $1,298 per head for that 550 pound feeder steer minus $1,202 per head for that 450 pound feeder steer, that gives us a difference of $92 per head. Again, most folks, that's going to be a profitable decision to put on that 100 pounds there. Next, let's evaluate that move from 550 to 650 pounds. The dollars per head difference would be $1,339 per head for that 650 pound feeder steer minus $1,298 per head for that 550 pound feeder steer. That's a difference of only $41 per head. Now, can producers put on 100 pounds of gain for $41 per head? Perhaps a few producers can, but many producers can't put on that 100 pounds for just $41. So I think our lesson here is if you can't put on that 100 pounds of gain for $41, you should definitely sell those feeder steers at 550 pounds. Now, as we mentioned earlier, moving from 250 pounds to 300 pounds, that value of gain was $88 per head. I think most cattle producers would definitely want to collect on that price increase. And then we also considered the move from 550 pounds to 600 pounds. That value of gain is only $16 per head. So I doubt many folks are going to be interested in holding their calves on their cows longer or supplementing their calves to achieve that additional 50 pounds of only $16 per head there. And then just expressing the same information on a dollars per pound basis, that value of gain between 550 pounds and 600 pounds was $16 per head. Taking that $16 per head and dividing it by 50 pounds per head is going to give us a value of gain of 32 cents per pound when moving from 550 to 600 pounds for our feeder steers. Let's also evaluate our value of gain on our Florida feeder heifers. Sometimes the value of gain is going to be different between our feeder steers and heifers, depending on where we are in our cattle cycle. So as you can see in this chart, that price per hundredweight decreases as the weight of our feeder heifers increases. Now, our current Florida feeder heifer prices are ranging from about $350 per hundredweight for that 250 pound feeder heifer to $198 per hundredweight for that 650 pound feeder heifer. So this has given us a price range of about $152 per hundredweight. Now, looking specifically at that first 50 pound increment, the price per hundredweight is decreasing from $350 per hundredweight to $324 per hundredweight for our feeder heifer weight, as our feeder heifer weight is increasing from 250 pounds to 300 pounds. So that's going to give us a $26 per hundredweight decline in price for that first 50 pound increment. Again, looking at those same feeder heifers, but we're adding dollars per head to the mix on the right-hand axis. This is going to be denoted by that green dotted line. Specifically looking at those first 50-pound increment, that 250-pound calf is bringing $875 per head, while that 300-pound calf is bringing $972 per head. This is going to give us an increase of $97 per head, increase in feeder calf revenue to take that first 50 pounds. And again, most cow-calf producers are going to want to collect this additional revenue simply just by leaving that calf on the cow a little longer. Now, that tougher question, do we want to sell a 450, 550, or 650 pound feeder heifer? As for the feeder heifers, as we move from 450 pounds to 550 pounds, calculating our dollars per head difference of $1,243 per head for our 550 pound feeder heifers, minus $1,139 per head for that 450 pound feeder heifer, that's going to give us a difference of about $104 per head. Now, most cattle producers can put on that 100 pounds of gain for less than $104 per head. So this is going to be a very profitable decision for most producers. Now, evaluating that move from 550 to 650 pounds, the dollars per head difference would be $1,287 per head for our 650 pound feeder heifer, minus $1,243 per head for our 550 pound feeder heifer, giving us a difference of only $44 per head. Now, can producers put on this 100 pounds of gain for only $44? Again, some producers may be able to, but many producers can't. So again, our lesson is if we aren't able to put on this 100 pounds of gain for less than $44 per head, you should sell that 550 pound feeder heifer in this example. Again, you can see that moving from 250 pounds to 300 pounds for our feeder heifers, that value of gain is $97 per head. So again, most cattle producers are going to want to collect on that price increase. And then considering that move from 550 to 600 pounds, the value of gain is only $23. So I doubt many producers are going to be interested in holding those calves on their cows longer or supplementing their calves to achieve that additional 50 pounds for just $23 per head. Looking at that same value of gain, but expressed on a dollars per pound basis, that value of gain from 550 to 650 of the $23 per head, divide that by 50 pounds per head, is only going to give us a value of gain of 46 cents per pound. We're moving from that 550 to 600 pound weight range for our feeder heifers. So we pretty much covered everything on marketing opportunities, what they look like for our 2015 feeder calves. So let's summarize what we've discussed just a little bit. In summary, our 2015 feeder calves on average are going to be higher than those that we saw in 2014. These high cattle prices that we received in 2015 are expected to continue to help cow-calf producers achieve near record profit levels. And without any disrupting situations, there should be more heifer retention and continued herd expansion in the United States. Also, that current CME feeder cattle futures prices, they do show a decrease of about $5 per hundredweight between now and November, and then an a decrease of $13 per hundredweight between our August 2015 contract and our May 2016 contract. So if in the future, as herd expansion continues, we do expect to see some of those traditional feeder calf seasonal price trends with slightly lower calf prices in the fall of the year. Lastly, using those commodity feeder calf value gain examples, some cow-calf producers are going to find it difficult to add additional weight economically above 550 pounds for our feeder calves this year. As always, if you're looking for additional cow-calf information, please check out our Southeast Cattle Advisor website. And thank you for tuning in this evening, and good luck marketing those 2015 feeder calves. We'll take a few minutes to try to answer a few questions we've received, and any questions that I don't get to tonight, I will reply to you by email shortly. Also, my contact information is available there on the screen. If you have any additional questions or comments that you want to discuss, just give me a call or shoot me an email. So the first question that we received tonight was on our Florida feeder steer basis. So we used a basis of $12, a positive $12 per hundredweight for our 550 pound feeder steers. Is it always going to be $12 per hundredweight? And no, our basis isn't always going to be $12 per hundredweight. It is going to vary over time, and it's going to change due to our value of gain, the supply and demand for our feeder calves here in Florida, as well as the cost to transport them to feedlots in the Midwest. And then we also got another question about the price decrease. What do you think about the average calf prices will be in 2016 compared to what we're receiving in 2015? You know, currently, given our current projections for 2015 versus 2016, I expect the price decrease between about 7% decrease in prices, or about $80 per head, less than what we're receiving probably here in 2015. And then I did get a couple questions about where it will be recorded. If you Google our Range Cattle Research and Education Center, one of the side links on the left-hand side is the economics page. Simply clicking on that economics page, it will be there and be available in the next couple of days. A recording of this webinar. And then another question that we received was on that traditional seasonal price trends. Why are we going to be more likely to follow those again? We've seen that big run up in price over the last 65 months that we've mentioned. And as these beef herds continue to expand, we're probably going to see the same trends that we've seen in the past. As soon as we increase animal numbers and beef production, uh, we're going to meet those needs in terms of our cattle supply. We're not going to see the oversupply and undersupply of cattle. So I think we're going to get back to those seasonal price trends here in the next couple of years. And then we got a question on why wouldn't we sell the 400-pound feeder steer? And then the just looking back at our value of gain for those feeder steers, moving from 350 to 400 pounds, we're only going to be receiving 10 cent a pound value of gain. So we're going to take a loss there on putting on that additional 50 pounds. But that move from 400 pounds to 450 pounds was worth $1.39 a pound. And we can make a lot of money on that move from 400 to 450 pounds. And then moving from 450 to 550 pounds, we can continue to put profitable weight on that 400-pound feeder steer. To me, for most producers in Florida, moving from 400 to 550 pounds, we should continue to add weight there. All right, so any of the questions that I didn't get to, I will shoot you an email back over the next day or two. I appreciate your time this evening, and in 2 weeks we'll have another webinar on our 2015 UF beef cow calf budget. So I appreciate your attending this evening, and we will continue with the webinar series in a couple weeks. Have a good evening. Thank you.